Hello, everyone. I'm Christine Kidder-Graves. I'm an executive career coach, and my specialty is I work with revenue producers. So if you're in marketing or sales, you are the ones that I focus on the most. However, I do help others that approach me if I feel that I can help them. But I'm really excited. I do this training, try to do a short training for you here on LinkedIn every Thursday at around the same time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And today's training is about overcoming job search hurdles, because there are so many of you that are encountering lots of hurdles. You're being ghosted. You're not getting feedback on your interviews. If you are getting feedback, it really isn't helpful feedback. You don't know what you're doing wrong. You may be struggling in getting interviews. You're reaching out to your connections and you feel like you keep on reaching out to them, and you feel like you can only reach out to them so many times. So these are some of the struggles that I'm hearing about. And I wanted to put together the short 20-minute training to help you to deal with all these hurdles that you're coming across. Okay. And these are hurdles that I'm hearing about through the new connections that I'm making, because I make new connections every day. I talk with new people every day. And this is what many of you are telling me. So we're going to jump right into it and just get started. I do need to just make sure I watch the time. So give me a second to start my timer so I don't go over. All right. So anyway, let's keep on going in here. So here are my 6 elements for you to overcome your job search hurdles, right? These are the things that I really feel that you need to focus on. And I consider this unconventional, right? This is not the typical, well, make sure your resume is keyword optimized and that you can get past the applicant tracking systems. This is what really counts. This is what you need to focus on. And I'm starting off with both nervous system regulation and mindset. And I think more and more of us are hearing about nervous system regulation and mindset. And what is it? Well, think of it as your body, how you feel, how you're feeling, and really paying attention to that. And the reason why I say nervous system regulation and mindset is because, you could be really trying to adapt or adopt a resilient mindset. But if your body isn't feeling it, if you're not feeling good, if you have that pit in your stomach, you feel the stress in your body, I don't care how great your mindset is, it's going to be really hard to get past that. So you need to take care of your body. You need to do the things so you feel good and so you can do a job search, because you need to think of a job search as a marathon. All right. We want your marathon to not go on forever, but marathons are 26.2 miles. They're not just a 3-mile run, obviously. So you need to be going into this as if you're going to run a marathon, but you're going to run it at an incredibly fast time. So you want to be as fast as possible. And you also want to cross the appropriate finish line, not just any finish line, right? The finish line for your race. So that's where nervous system regulation and mindset come into mind. So what's an example of this? Self-care. You need to make sure that you have time in your schedule for self-care. And what I recommend is taking a walk outside, going outside and getting fresh air, doing that, carving out some time for yourself to be outside and to get exercise. That is really critical and important. So I need you to do that. I also need you to do anything else that will help with your self-care, making sure that you're drinking enough water and getting enough sleep, and then you're eating good food. So all of those things are important. Okay. So that's, again, with nervous system regulation and mindset. And of course, you want to make sure with your mindset that you're aware of what you're saying to yourself. You want to do everything you can to not beat yourself up and to talk in a positive way to yourself. The majority of the thoughts that we have are negative thoughts, and we also have them on a continuous loop. So you can't eliminate that, but just by being more aware of it, it's a start, and you can try to work to reduce that. Okay, so even if you can reduce it, That is progress. All right. The next bullet point that I have in here is clarity. Okay. And I want to talk about clarity because when I was posting about this training that I'm doing for you, one of the benefits I listed in attending this training is, you're going to find out what the pre-work is that you need to do before making sure your resume is updated. Because often, right, when we start a job search, what's the first thing that we think of? Oh, I have to update my resume. I have to get that together. No, that is not the first thing that you need to do. Wrong. I totally disagree with that. You need to have clarity. You need to have clarity in your brand. So how do you rate your clarity in your brand on a scale from 1 to 10? And you also need to have clarity in how you want to use your brand. That's your next ideal role, that role that you're shooting for. How do you rate that on a scale from 1 to 10? If you don't have clarity in those two areas, one is the arrow and one is the target. But if you don't have clarity in either one of them or in both, there's no way the arrow is going to connect with the target. And your job search will just go on and on and on. And we don't want that to happen. So clarity is the pre-work that you need to do. It's the foundation for your job search. The next bullet point I have is conversations. So conversations are key. And I'm going to show it to you here. Oh, by the way, I should have taken a step. With that clarity, the previous bullet point, if you and I haven't had a conversation, and especially if we're first degree connections and for some reason we've been busy and we haven't had a conversation, we need to connect, okay? Because I would recommend, people pay me to do these, and what it is, it's my career strategy LinkedIn audit call, okay? But if we're first degree connections and we haven't had that conversation, I do give some of those to my first degree connections. So maybe depending on my schedule for the week, because it's a very limited number that I do, but maybe I can give you one of those sessions and I will help you in that session. I will help you to get greater clarity in both your brand and your next ideal role. Okay. So I'm happy to do that, especially if we're first degree connections and we haven't had a conversation. And then because there are a few people that we had every intention of having a conversation and then life got in the way and we weren't able to do that. So I just wanted to put that out there. And then if you are a second or third degree connection and you want to become a first degree connection, definitely send me a connection request. Take a look at my profile first, because I want to make sure that, there's an opportunity that, for me to help you. And so take a look at my profile first. And if you think that we should connect, send me a request and let me know why you'd like to connect. And then we can take it from there. I'm happy to do that. So the next bullet point I have on here is conversations. So conversations are key. They are like the major action that we should be taking in a job search and also in our career. It's part of my coaching program. Okay, there's 3 steps to my coaching program, and I'll show you the diagram of it at the end. But the 3 steps are to reflect, to have a plan, and to connect with people. Okay, so those 3 things are really, really crucial. And conversations are how we take action. That's the major way. The way we take action on the plan is to connect with others, and we connect through conversations. So this is why the DIY approach doesn't work, because it's just too hard. You really need to take the DWO approach, which is do with others. That's, if you talk with anyone who has done a successful career search and who has landed, it's because of them taking the do it with others approach, and they didn't do DIY. So because especially in today's market, the DIY approach does not work. You have to do your search with others. It's essential. Just keeping an eye on the time again, because I want to make sure that I cover all of my points with you. Oh, and by the way, again, stick around for the end. You may be crunched, but I'm going to be providing you with some additional free resources at the end. So you definitely want to stick around. Plus, it's only 20 minutes and I'm already halfway through. So we're just cranking here. Okay, so numbers game. Keep in mind, and my sales leaders, in your sales funnel, it's a numbers game. Your job search is the same way. You have to pay attention to the numbers. What are your metrics? How many interviews have you had? How many conversations have you had? How many opportunities have you applied for? How many job leads do you have? The numbers are important. And if you don't like math, you need to embrace it because it's going to help you with your job search. So paying attention to the numbers is crucial. And then stretching the comfort zone. You really want to stretch your comfort zone because the more you stretch it, the more successful you'll be in your job search. Like ask yourself today, what is something that I may be uncomfortable with, but I think it could help me with my job search? That's important too. And while you're doing that, ask yourself about the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is where 20% of your job search activities will yield 80% of your results. So what are those 20% activities? I label those high yield activities. So we want to focus on those activities and have you do those activities. We don't want to do the other 80% that are wasting your time, drain your energy. And also they essentially cost you money, right? Because for every week that you go without that new job, you're losing money. If you're unemployed right now and your job search is your full-time job, you know that. You don't need me to tell you that. But for those of you who are doing a job search while you're working full-time right now, you are definitely losing money because the sooner you land that new role, the sooner you can be making more money. Possibly the sooner you can have better quality of life. That has value, correct? It totally does, depending on your situation, but you really want to stretch your comfort zone. That is important. And the last key point here to help you to overcome job search hurdles is resilience. Resilience is really important. And that's how you overcome rejection. And by overcoming rejection too, you can be stretching your comfort zone because I think often we might be afraid to make new connections. We don't want to be rejected, right? When we're making a new connection. But if you can kind of embrace rejection, then you are stretching your comfort zone. So that's a good thing to do. All right, so getting back to connect, I said, I want you to have conversations, and connect is like the biggest way for you to take action in your job search. So, and the whole point of connecting is to get interviews. We need to have those conversations for job opportunities. And maybe, just maybe, in order to get that interview for a job opportunity, you may have to do some informational interviews that lead you to that interview for that role, okay? Or it could be possible, maybe from doing a series of informational interviews, a position might be created for you. And it is possible to get hired for an opportunity without having an interview. That actually happened to me. But I think that's more the minority, but that can happen. So, but just to be open to connecting and having conversations with people. I have this note here too. I refer to the hidden job market, and we all know that the hidden job market does exist. So maybe it's not that hidden, right? But we access it through our connections. So that's why connecting and having conversations with people is key. But it's not a silver bullet, and it does require work. That's important. And I love this quote from Brene Brown. So remember, and I think this is why networking, I prefer to use the term connecting because I just think that's just so much more. So often, many of us dread networking. We think of it as a chore, and you need to embrace it. And I think a way to help you embrace it is to think of it as connecting with people. Really think of the people that you're connecting with. And Brene Brown's wonderful quote here, the energy that exists between people when they feel heard and valued and seen, and they can give and receive without judgment, and they derive sustenance and strength from relationships. So just love that quote. So I want you to keep that in mind as you're out there connecting with your existing connections and also making new connections. Okay, so moving along, just making sure that we're moving. I'm actually going to come back to this. So your LinkedIn profile checklist, this is an important thing to help you in connecting with people. So I really want you to pay attention to this because this is a crucial, crucial piece to helping you to get past job search hurdles. All right. Wouldn't it be ideal if you had opportunities finding you easily on LinkedIn and messaging you? You wouldn't have to do any legwork then, right? I mean, because they find you and they are contacting you to set up an interview with you. Okay. That is the ideal thing. But that's not going to happen unless your LinkedIn profile is optimized. So, and these are the important aspects to look at. So your headshot, although they don't have the video anymore, so I need to update this slide, your banner photo, your headline, the featured section, the about section, the experience section, recommendations, posts. I should put skills in here too. Skills are important as well. Everyone should know that LinkedIn has updated the number of skills that you can have from 50 to 100. They are gradually rolling this out, so you might not be seeing it yet, but be on the lookout for that important update. Okay, so getting back to here, in the comments to help you with your connection, because again, this is going to help you to get past hurdles in your job search, okay? And this is really to help you to do the amount of connections that you need to do on a daily basis, okay? And just to make sure that you do connection activity every day in your job search. That is important because that's how you're going to connect with your next role, okay? But you have to keep on connecting no matter what hurdles you encounter. You need to be doing this every day. This is the action that you need to take. There's only certain things that you can control in your job search. Getting ghosted, you only have so much control over that, right? You can control that to a degree, but not very much. But what you can control is your connection activity. So these are 2 worksheets. We'll put the links in the comments for you so you can track this. But I just want you to use this 30-day challenge to start tracking and have 30 days in a row of doing connection activity. And it can be as little as 5 minutes a day. So if you just do 5 minutes a day, then you have satisfied what you need to do for that day. And you can put an X on that day, but you need to do 30 consecutive days. All right. And then for personal connections, this is how to measure your personal connections as well. So you need to measure your activity and you want to make sure that your activity is going to get you to where you need to go. So that's important. Here's your profile checklist. And then here is the purposeful work program. This is the diagram of my program, really to help you with the 3 steps of reflect, plan, and connect. All right, so that's important. And then again, getting back to overcoming rejection. You can't control how many times you are going to be rejected, but what you can control is the action that you're taking, okay? And if you feel that you've received a lot of rejection, again, I want to encourage you to take advantage of this if we are first-degree connections, because typically people do pay me to do this, but if you are a first degree connection, I might be able to give you one of these sessions. Okay. So that is quite possible. Or another option is, if we're not first degree connections, look at my profile, see if it makes sense for us to connect. If you think it makes sense, send me an invite, and then possibly we can connect. And I might be able to give you one of these as a connection gift. So, because I like to be generous that way. So that's pretty much it. And in this call, in this career strategy LinkedIn profile audit that I do with you, I'm going to give you advice on how you should communicate your brand and what you need to do to be easily found. And I can also show some really stellar profiles to you that will make people stop and take notice and want to have a conversation with you, want to connect. That's important as well. So hopefully you found this helpful. I think that's my last slide that I had here, just going back over here. So yeah, so anyway, thank you so much for watching this free training. And then please put any comments that you have, or questions in the comments, I should say, because we want to offer you great training to help you to connect with that next role. Yes, it is a tough job market for many out there right now, but you can overcome those hurdles. And consider this is your 20-minute guide to help you in overcoming those hurdles and landing that next role. Everyone, have a great day. And thanks again for watching. Bye now.